So the first thing that you'll need is a scoring board like this. It has various measurements on there, and that's really going to help us with this whole process. So in order to get this size box, we need to use one full letter size sheet of paper. So this will be the color that your pages are. So you can decide what color. You don't have to have silver. If you want to do white cardstock, whatever it is, it just needs to be a thicker cardstock, because this will be the walls for your box. So we're going to flip it over onto the back, and we're going to take our bone folder. And so on every side, we want to score at 2 inches. And you want to press somewhat firmly, but not firm enough that you end up putting a hole in the paper. So 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 inches, and 2 inches. So what we have is this page width. This is going to be the bottom part of our box, and each of these sides are going to be the sides of the box. Now for a more realistic look, such as what you saw in the preview, then what I like to do is I take, and just for every 1/16 of an inch, I just run it down 3 of the sides. And if you overlap onto these corners where the flaps are, that is totally fine. Okay. So now we have this. You can also alternatively have the front side up, and you can do it like this too. It all depends on the look that you're going for. I would recommend testing which one that you want to do first. This is just a sample, so you can decide which one you want to use before you actually start putting the box together. Okay, and then just finish up on this last shorter side. And this just adds texture and interest to the piece and gives it a more realistic look. It is a little more time consuming though, so if you don't want to do this, you totally don't have to. Either way, whether you choose to do it or not, it will still look nice. Okay, so now that we have this done, we are going to cut the corners. And to do that, you're going to need a pair of scissors. I am just going to use this little mini scissors from Dollar Tree. So this line that we see right here, that is where we want to cut. So just cut straight down that line. And then we want to remove some of the bulk because this is the tab. So we can do that by doing a slight diagonal cut on each end. And we're going to repeat the same process on all 4 corners. It is, of course, better if you have bigger scissors. I just don't have bigger scissors up in my craft room right now. Okay, so now we are going to do the last corner. And just like before, we're going to taper off the edges of the tab. Okay, so now we have this. So the next step is we want to reinforce these creases that are going to be the sides of our box. So for now, we can set this flooring board aside. And so we're going to carefully fold each of the sides. And if you want to really reinforce it, you can take your bone folder and you can just run it over the edges just to give it a nice and crisp edge. And we don't want to forget about these tabs as well. And now we're going to do the last side. Okay, so now we have the beginnings of our box. So now you want to take some glue. You can use these adhesive dots from Dollar Tree. If you want for a other stable option, liquid glue also works. Just make sure that you have clips. But just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use these adhesive dots. So of course, if you're going to use liquid glue, then you want to put it through this whole thing. Since I am just using these adhesive dots, I'm just going to use a couple, one in the corners. I should say in the top corners. That will help hold it together. And what I'm actually going to do is, before I take the plastic off of these, I'm going to do the other side, which will make it easier as I go, instead of trying to fight the other side of the box. Okay, so now we can take the clear plastic carrier sheet off. And when we do it, we want to make sure that the edges line up perfectly, and then pinch it. And now we'll do the same with the other side. So take the clear carrier sheet off. Okay. Make sure to line it up and pinch. Okay, so half of the box is done, so now we need to do the other half. So we're going to take more glue dots. And we're going to put them at the top of that flap. On both sides. take off the clear carrier sheet, bring it up to the corner, and then do the same with this last corner. Alright, so now we have a box and it lays pretty flat. So now let's work on the outer jacket. So to do that, we need to bring our scoring board back out. And if you are doing this size of box, then you will need a sheet of paper that is 12 inches by 8.5. This gives us enough to wrap it all the way around with the 2-inch spine. So we are going to take our bone folder and we are going to score it at 5 inches and 7 inches. So now we are done with the scoring board for good now. And we want to go ahead and just, like before, cement those creases. So this is where you can personalize it as you want. I have, with my Cricut, cut out this New World Translation and the name at the bottom to give to the pioneer. So I'm going to start by just putting the name at the bottom. Now I want to put it about 1/2 inch away from either side of the corner. Press it down extra good. And then we are going to use a bigger piece of transfer tape for this New World Translation. So I'm going to take the transfer tape and put it right in the center, and then I'm going to take and press really hard to get it to transfer properly to the tape. And then if you're extra worried about it, you can take your bone folder actually and just rub on it just to make sure it is on extra good. So like with when you use permanent vinyl, you want to put it face down and then peel the backing from the vinyl. This will give it that added help to get it to stay on the transfer tape. So now we're going to find out where we want to put this. So I think I'm going to put it about right there. Press down on all of the lines. Okay, and then we can start to carefully lift up our transfer tape. And there may be areas that it wants to stick more to the transfer tape than it does to the cardstock, so you just want to take it really slow. This is why for this kind of thing I prefer to use some transfer tape that I've already used a couple times because then it doesn't get so sticky that it doesn't want to come off the transfer tape. And once you peel the transfer tape off, you just want to take and run your finger over all of the words to make sure that it is stuck down really good. So now that we have finished this, we're going to go ahead and add the box inside. And so to add the box, you can do this a variety of different ways. You can use liquid glue like you used on the tabs, or you can use a combination of hot dots. You can use a combination of glue dots, such as these, or you can also use double-sided sticky tape. It all depends really on if you are planning to mail it and what the circumstances are, how durable you need it to be. These I will probably just be leaving on the porch so I don't have to worry about it going through the mail. So I am going to just use these glue dots. And you can take off the carrier sheets for each of the corners. Okay. So if you decided to do these ridges, then you want to make sure that they are facing outside. So what we want to do is we want to raise up the spine, and we want to try to center it as well as we can. There. And then press down on where you have the glue. Since I just have it on the four corners, I'm just going to be pressing it down in the corners. And then, ta-da! You have a gift box that looks like the New World Translation. If you would like to see a video about gift ideas for putting inside the box, then go ahead and leave a comment below. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that it has given you some ideas for those that you love and care about. Until next time, goodbye!